Hello fish head friends, Joe here. So, my last video, I was talking about my last minute preparations for the albino rusty zebra eggs that I had. And unfortunately, I don't know what happened, what I did wrong, but the eggs disappeared. One day I walked past and the eggs they're fine. They're in there. They're bouncing like they should be. Just a slight rumble. And I just noticed that there was the slightest discoloration or slightest little difference in them. And this discoloration was on the tip, and it looked like all of them were facing up. It's hard to explain. I didn't think anything of it. I have never done this where I've stripped the eggs and monitored the eggs. And then a few hours later I walked by again and half the eggs were gone. What was left is all of a sudden bouncing up to the top, and they were completely clear with the exception of that slight discoloration on the top. So, what happened? Really don't know. I would imagine that somebody out there, my fish head friends, fish fam, somebody knows what happened, what I did wrong, or maybe this is just one of those things that happens now and then. I don't know. I did look at the tumbler. I still have set up here. It's just rolling. I haven't had time to take it down. I thought maybe I got a hole in the net, or the fish tried to scoop up the eggs, or just a casualty of aggression from the cichlids, because they're pretty active over here anytime I walk past. That could be, and maybe it was just, they got jostled, or the whole tumbler got hit by the fish or something and punctured them, and the eggs emptied. I don't know. The other thing that I think it might be is I was trying to recalibrate my heater a while back. I had it set, and it was a little higher than I would have liked it. I think it was at 81. I tried getting it down to about 78, and I don't know why I'm struggling to get this heater at the right temp, but then all of a sudden it's at 73, and I didn't have time to keep tweaking it, 'cause, that means moving the lights, taking off the top, drying stuff off, making sure I have clean hands, all that. Realistically, it only takes a few minutes, but I wasn't overly concerned. 73 is pretty low, but I have seen zero change in these guys' eating habits, coloration. They're still, breeding like crazy. So I just wasn't concerned about it. And then, to be honest, I kind of forgot about it for a while. It's been at 73 for probably several weeks now. So maybe 73 was just far too cold for these eggs, and they just deteriorated real quick. That's my main guess, or maybe it's just a casualty of aggressive cichlids banging into it or trying to scoop up the eggs or eat them through the net or something. So that's a bummer. I'm kind of disappointed, but it's a learning process. Now I know I need to get my heater back up to where it should be, aiming for about 78. Also, now that I spent a couple hours. Oh, you know what? The other thing that I might have done wrong is I stripped the eggs within a matter of hours of them breeding. Maybe I jumped the gun there, and they got to incubate and make sure they're fertilized in the female's mouth and all that. Maybe I just jumped the gun on that. Maybe got to let them hold for a day or two to make sure it takes. So those three options. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I have everything in motion for this setup, so I'm just going to keep going with it. I have this tumbler. I think my design and airflow will be fine. I will be putting the tumbler in my 10-gallon tank downstairs once that's all cycled and ready. I'm just going to keep that tank down there. It's basic 10-gallon. I have a couple of these small sponge filters in there. One was a brand new one. One was out of this tank. I squeezed that one out, and I got all that gunk into the water column, seeded into the other filter. And I also threw a couple chunks of just deteriorating Java fir and Windelov leaves from my other tank in there. They got algae on them, and they're just big leaves that were ready to come out, covered in algae. With those came a bunch of snails, which is, I'm not worried about that. That'll just, just trying to get that tank jump started. I imagine at this point, it's been a week at this point, a week or so. It's probably cycled. I actually haven't even tested it. I just set it up, threw all the stuff in, and I've been letting it go. I did one water change. I also threw a little food in there just to, get it going. But this weekend or one of these nights when I have time, I'll test it and make sure that thing's all set. But next time I strip a fish, I'll put the tumbler down in that tank so it's at least calm. Maybe I'll even just pull a female out and put her in there for the 3 weeks so she can be nice and chill and just kind of do her thing without worrying about getting picked on by the other fish. I don't know. I have this stuff in motion. I'm just going to roll with it because, this is fun and exciting. It's a new part of the hobby. I love my African cichlids here, but I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm really itching to do other stuff. I would love a setup similar to my 10-gallon in the 75-gallon, I've contemplated getting rid of the Africans to do something completely new, but I mean, this is it's kind of like my tank I've been daydreaming about for years, so I gotta enjoy it for a while, and I do, but, we all need these fun new aspects of the hobby to keep us interested, so if any of you guys out there have any information as to what went wrong, what I did wrong, please let me know. It's all learning. Every failure is just an opportunity to learn. So that's all I got. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.